Welcome to 5 Good Minutes. You're listening to today's inspirational message on the book of Philemon with Kurt Bjorklund.
So the issue in the book of Philemon has been basically bringing together people who are at odds. And in a way, it comes down to this idea of welcoming or receiving. Again, the Greek word, verse 17, for receive or welcome is paralambano. It means to take into your social circle, into your home, into your life. And this is Paul's urging of Philemon to take Onesimus back into his life after there had been a brokenness in the relationship. And there is a call, and I mentioned this in day one, to Philemon individually, you is singular through verse 5 through 21, and then it's plural in the beginning of the book and at the end of the book. So he's saying this is actually a broader thing. And there's a need to say, I welcome people personally, and I welcome people corporately. So I'm part of a church that's a welcoming community, and I welcome people personally, even when there's been an offense or something like that. And, I've been a pastor for a while now, and I can just tell you that some of the sweetest times in my life in church have been when I have seen people be welcomed after mistakes, when they have made a mess of things and they have been restored. And some of the ugliest times are either when they get annoyed at a process that's too long and decide that they just can't be part of a process at all, or when people are resistant to receiving repentant people back because they want them to still pay. And those times are ugly. And so the question is, what do you want to be a part of? And there's an interesting little phrase here. Verse 20, he says, yes, brother, I want some benefit from you in the Lord. And he says, refresh my heart in Christ. And the word for refresh here is anapao, and it means to cause to rest or to soothe. And so Paul is saying, when there is restoration in a broken relationship, it brings refreshment to my soul. And if you've ever been caught in a little bit of a relational mess with some people, you know how this works. If you're in a family and a couple siblings are sparring over something, or if you're in a marriage or in a family where your parents are sparring, and then all of a sudden there's restoration, it brings restoration, soothing, refreshment, a sense of to your soul. And it's true in a church community when people get cross with each other, sometimes legitimately over having been wronged, and then there's a soothing that brings refreshment to the soul. And so the urge here from Paul is really to say, look, let's not spend our days fighting. Yeah, there was a wrong. Let's move through it as well as we can, and let's start bringing refreshment to the soul. I've said this before publicly, but I often think that one of the draws for people of going to the bar is that when they go to the bar, they feel like whatever I've done, it's all okay here. We drink and we're just together in wherever we are. And often when people come to church, they feel like, well, here, whatever I've done is judged and known as such, instead of coming and saying, this is a place to be celebrated for just where I am. And the call of the church, I believe, is to be this place of refreshment, where even when you've done wrong, you can come and say, this is a place where I'm celebrated. And it's hard for somebody to feel that release with God while feeling judged and scorned and rejected by people. Refreshment comes from grace. God calls us to grace individually and corporately. And I hope and pray that just even this quick consideration of Philemon has reminded you of the beauty of what Jesus has done and the call to be part of extending grace and welcome and reception into the lives of people.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.